Oh, hello everybody. Ruth, how are you doing? We are back. That's right, we are back into the letter. Man, when we left off, we were attacked. We were attacked by a bloody ghost in an elevator. But we did manage to meet up with both Zach and Rebecca. So I think we're all just kind of traveling around together, which is good because we can keep each other safe. Hopefully. So without further ado, let's continue on with Ash's route. A dreary downpour starts off the Monday. Although it doesn't last for more than an hour, the dark clouds lift just after the sun peaks over the horizon. Brief as it is, the rain has significantly dampened the park's usual cheery vibe. Mornings like this often mark the start of another bad week. An arrest gone wrong, another investigation leading to a dead end, or some truly fucked up shit being called in. Long day, but now resting. How's mine? Oh, my day was actually really relaxed, actually. Yeah, it's going to be quite busy by the end of this week, but I think it's just going to be chill for today, tomorrow, and then it's going to get real hectic for me. So, let's try to get all of this and Luke's route finished by that time. Let's hope, let's pray. Like that one time I was dispatched to a scene where a guy gouged his own eyeball out and almost ate it. What? Oh my god. Ugh. Oh, that's messed up. You gotta be on some hardcore drugs in order to do that. Holy shit. Was a few chews away from swallowing it. In fact, lost my dinner date. Oh my god. So he was actually chewing on his eyeball? Oh man, that is disgusting. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Well, that guy's having a more rough day than all of us combined, hey? Speaking of which, what did you do today, Ruth? Anyway, how was that long day? What made it so long?
Fun times.
Of course, I doubt anything can top getting cursed by a damn chain letter of all things. This is the sort of stupid thing people pass along as a prank, through emails and text messages, for fuck's sake. A ghost chasing after you just puts the icing on that cake. So far, all we've done is run, snoop about, read stuff, and run again. It frustrates me to no end how we're still no closer to an answer. Even my car reflects the state my mind is in. Photocopies of documents litter every available surface. Oh, is this, yeah, this is the BRC documents that we grabbed, and I'm gonna guess some of these are the photocopies that Rebecca made in the library. Scattered all over the place, spilling from the passenger side and into the back seat, making an entire mess of what little space there is. Not that I'm any better. My last shower was 24 hours ago. Ugh, I haven't slept at all, and my last meal was a slice of cold pizza I bought from a convenience store the night I broke into BRC. Yum, I wouldn't mind a bit of a pizza, delicious. Just a lot of errands today, was meal prep day. Ooh, yum, what did you make? What did you prep? Is it going to last you the whole week? The way I am now, I'll definitely get a scolding. Isabella would, well, she would complain about how dark the bags under my eyes were getting and about how I reek and how I need to shower pronto. Rebecca would definitely give me an earful and tell me to take care of myself better. Say that I'm killing myself on the job.
I can rest easy when this is all over.
It's not that I can't feel the pang of hunger. With that woman chasing after you, it's difficult not to feel anything other than horror. The rush of adrenaline coursing through my veins in my desperation to survive. In fact, I can still sense the ghost of her touch from last night. Her bony digits wound tightly around my ankle, and that horrid smile she has on her as she pulls me closer. Right, she did get our ankles, didn't she? Ugh. The memory is enough to send a shiver up my spine and make me antsy. Perhaps the only thing comforting me about this is the sight of my gun nearby. From my dashboard, sunlight glints off Ophelia's surface. Really? He's named his gun and his car? His car Shirley and his gun Ophelia now? Normally, I keep it hidden in a compartment. Luxbourne's police regulations only allow authorized people to carry firearms, and even those are limited. I do have that authorization. I don't know if you know them since they are Kenyan meals. Ooh, probably not, but are they spicy or are they salty? What would they be like? But I never really saw the need for its use, when the standard issue tasers are more than good enough to incapacitate anyone. If not, I can always throw them on their back. Those judo lessons Dad forced me to get as a kid has its uses too. On a ghost though, all of those will probably yield the same results. They're all useless. I might as well use a stick. However, it's the feeling of ease I'm after, or what little of it I can gather from it. Well, I guess like if you do have a gun versus a ghost, like it's better than nothing, right? The awareness that I, at least, have something to protect myself with in case things go wrong. That I can still protect the people who are still depending on me despite the missteps I've taken. It doesn't take the edge off though. The feeling that your whole body has been strained far beyond its capacity. Frankly, I'm already running out of steam. Ooh, salty? Yum, actually. I wouldn't mind a bit of that. I wonder what kind of Kenyan meals there are. I don't think I've ever had Kenyan food before. Wouldn't mind though. The only thing pushing me right now is knowing someone's still depending on me. A stretch is still in order though. I've been sitting here since last night. Soon, I step out of my car, closing it behind me with a thud as I take my surroundings. The rain did wonders. The morning air feels crisper and cooler than it has ever been in days. For once, the weather seems to be taking a turn for the normal. Luxbourne normal. In the distance, beyond the buildings lining the horizons, dark clouds are blowing in.
A storm might be due this evening, give or take.
A shame for the people looking forward to Halloween tonight. Oh my god, yeah, because it's October. It's October 31st right now, isn't it? Is it? I think it might be. I'm just not sure whether this is something I can look forward to as well. Still, I bask in the change it brings. Inhale, exhale, breathing in, taking in the peace as if it'll be my last. But, as with all the good things, the quiet shortly comes to an end. Not necessarily a bad end. The chatter reaches my ears first, halting my movements. Sure enough, when I glance up, I find them, Zach and Rebecca, just as they've entered the park grounds, bags of convenience store food in hand. Aww, so they got us some food. That's nice. Hopefully you get to try them out. Yeah, that'll be great. I don't even know where I can get some, but if I Google Maps it, I'm sure it'll be alright. After last night's flight from Salemwell, we've elected to stay the night here, unsure if our own homes will be safe. Oh yeah, I mean, it's an open space where you can run, so I guess. Normally, we'd all be adverse to the idea of spending the night outside like this, but panic and distress has tainted that decision. It's not like any of us has gotten an ounce of sleep anyway. On the off chance one of us did, it only lasted but a second, or it's a fitful one. but looking at them right now from afar, it's easy to mistake them for just friends on a day out. Zach's booming laughter echoes as makes vague, wild gestures with his hands while talking, something funny or amusing probably, because it's soon followed by Rebecca's giggles. Their voices fill the atmosphere with light air, temporarily easing off the disheartening mood. It's easy to pretend we're not knee-deep in a life-or-death situation the way they're acting now. Easy to forget one of us is still fighting for her life, desperately holding on to it because she can be quite stubborn like that. If anything, it's only the appearance that betrays that mask. Slightly disheveled bags under their eyes, an exhausted curve in their shoulders, and dragging footsteps. But the closer they get, the more obvious these signs are to the naked eye. Zach tosses an energy drink my way the moment the distance allows it. Rebecca hands me the other bag she's holding before seating herself on a bench nearby. Ooh, that looks really yummy. What is that? Some rice and pork cutlets? Ooh. The scent of warm food immediately wafts from the bag when I open it, carried further by a passing breeze. Yum, breakfast. Whatever sweet sauce they dribbled over this pork wannabe, it smells heavenly. Hell, even the sorry-looking vegetables seem appetizing. Despite myself, without even checking exactly what this is, hunger swiftly takes over every rational thought. I dig in without waiting for them to start. Both of them appear to be in the same mind too. Soon enough, they also start with theirs. No casual talk while we fill our empty stomachs. Exhausted as we all are, food is something we can't forego. Yep, you can't forego food, but I guess that would make a food coma, right? When you eat so much that you're so relaxed. Starvation dulls the thinking, weakens the body. If we are to survive this, we're gonna have to take care of ourselves first. Isabella would never let me hear the end of it if she was here though. Perhaps it is for the better she isn't here to see us. Knowing her, she'll worry, despite what goes unsaid between us. In a matter of minutes, we're done and dumping the empty cartons on a nearby waste bin. Along with it is the shift in the mood. Back to dismal. Back to the problem at hand. The comfortable atmosphere from minutes ago was nice while it lasted. Admittedly, I've missed these kinds of movements between us. Moments. We never had the chance, always busy on some project or work, the things we've taken for granted. Now we're realizing how valuable they are, with one of us absent. The world has an awful sense of humour, while the one we've just had is short-lived. It's another thing I want to look forward to, if we ever free ourselves from this damn curse. I'd like to believe there's a way. For now, we have to focus back on the present. This. Dead people. The letter. The curse. It's not simple to bring these up, but necessary.
Where to now?
Oof. It's not a question directed at anyone in particular, but they both look to me as if my face has all the answers in the world. I used to think so, back when I was at the top of my game, and I'm still sure of everything. Now, there's just uncertainty, sullying whatever decision I come up with. At some point, logic has simply stopped working here and we've started grasping at straws. Along with exhaustion, fatigue and stress, we have enough kindling to get a fire burning. Ooh, nice CG. The not so pleasant kind of fire.
We can't stay here. We'd be sitting ducks if we remain in one place.
All right, so we just keep running like this?
We don't really have a choice, Rebecca. We can't even go back to our own homes.
Oh. Did we get this CG because our relationship with Zachary is so low? Maybe that's why we got this CG. Ooh.
No matter where we go or hide, she's gonna get us.
It still doesn't change anything. You just said it. Nowhere's safe. But dying is the last thing I want to do right now, Zach.
True.
Not to a stupid chain letter. Someone was too gullible to pick up and show everyone.
Don't you think it's a bit too late to start laying the blame on someone else? It's not even helping at this point.
Who said anything about blaming anyone? Do you really think I don't blame myself for this as well?
Aww.
Isabella warned all of us. In the first place, we wouldn't even be having this problem if you'd only...
Will you two cut it out? This ain't the place for I don't know, petty squabbles.
He's right.
Don't let her say it, Z-Man. Nothing has stopped her from saying what she wants before. Knowing her, I'm pretty sure she has loads of things to say about this.
If you don't want to get caught in it, then stay out of this, Zachary.
And leave it to the two of you to hash it out here?
Zach, you don't have to...
You really want that? Really? Because I'm quite sure this ain't gonna turn out pretty whether or not I stay here.
Ooh.
Because every single time, the two of you get into an argument, even before. I have to be the one keeping this whole dumb friendship intact. I'm honestly getting tired of this. For once, can't you two hold a conversation without fighting when things don't go your way?
Then go ahead, leave. No one's telling you to stay. This is just like your movie again.
No, don't split.
This and that are two different things, Rebecca. And you know what? Right now, I'd rather see my movie flop twice over than go through this.
All right, that's enough! Both of you, stop this!
They both falter to silence at my words, and an awkward, stifling mood descends between the three of us. I do not mean to shout, to snap at them, to add to that kindling. Not in a moment when, anytime, anywhere, she might get to one of us. We're all in the same boat, yet here we are, playing the blame game. Little by little, we're falling apart, caving into the pressure, to the bleak situation we're trapped in. Did that ghost mean for this to happen? To divide each of us so she can pick us off one by one right after? Who knows? Anything's possible now if her kind can exist. With the fire burning between us rising as high as it does now, I'm afraid, deathly afraid, that the possibility might come sooner than I can figure all of this out. Fuck, I still can't think straight. I can't even believe the next words coming out of my own mouth, that out of everyone, I have to be the one saying these to them. This is more their forte than mine, keeping the peace, placating everyone while I unintentionally aggravate people with badly chosen words. Funny how fast the tables have been turned after just one unfortunate incident. How am I even supposed to cope?
If we all want to get out of this mess in one piece, we're gonna have to cool our heads first.
Before my own temper flares, I walk away and slide back into my car. If the door slams with more force than needed, I like to blame it on the pent-up anger boiling up in me. I'm not even sure what or who I am angry at. A ghost? At them? Or maybe at myself for being this useless? Because despite none of them saying it, I know, god damn it. They're still counting on me. In spite of my failures, or every harsh word I've uttered, or how unbearable I can be as a friend, it's there when the tension after the argument finally breaks, and one after another, they follow me and get in the car. It's in concerned glances they shoot my way when I start the engine without a word and drive off. It's in this silence, a heavy gift, their unwavering trust. Yet, it's one I'm more than willing to carry, even though my own exhaustion, if only to keep them safe. In this city of 68,000 strangers, they're the only ones I have left. Oh man! Though, in all seriousness, a good rest is still our best bet for now. Thinking with an exhausted brain is almost as good as running around in circles. We might as well just throw ourselves at the ghost and be done with this. The local Irish pub may not be the best place to hang around when one hasn't slept a wink, or you're stressed. More often than not, it's loud. I reckon go to a place where like a public pool or something, like with a shower. Ooh, but then I guess the ghost could probably drown us there. Sometimes the music played by drunkards grates the ears and the whole place smells like piss on a bad day. All in all, it's the very definition of the last place I'll hang around after a wakeful night, but it's safe. It's the very definition, it should say. Or as safe as it can be with G security watching the place. Makes it easy to find people, in case you find yourself in a tight spot. The place being owned by a person I've implicitly placed my trust on provides some semblance of comfort too. Gregor, bartender G, or just G to his regular patrons, might be rough around the edges, sometimes a bit too gruff for a man serving drinks behind the counter, but he belongs to the good folk of this city. If there's anyone in this place I can rely on to look after people important to me, it's probably him. He means well, surprisingly, despite his surly demeanour, cares to some extent for people he likely only sees once or twice a week on a bad day. Not the best job in the world in my opinion, but that's exactly it, isn't it? In wine, there is truth. Alcohol, in this case. It loosens the tongue, forces one to let his or her guard down. Whatever inhibitions anyone has, it all flies straight out the window after a few glasses. It has made him observant too. Always has one or two things to say about someone or something. Most of the time, it's me. Opinionated ass. But God knows how many times I've asked for his help when I'm met with a dead end in a case, or I'm in trouble. This time's no different. As expected, the moment we show up, he's kind enough to offer us a room at the back of his shop. A single look at my face, I don't even need to say anything, and the next thing we know, he's leading us in. No questions asked. Maybe it's also for this reason why I find myself drifting towards his station hours later, after having gotten that much-needed shut-eye. Newly washed drinking glasses and tumblers line the counter surface when I enter the room. Behind the bar, G's busy wiping each of them clean, likely prepping it for tonight's use. Briefly, he glances up at me once I claim one of the empty stools and grab a rocks glass sitting closest to my elbow. Oh, I mean, just have some water, mate. Turning it absent-mindedly in my palm just to keep my hands occupied while my brain's busy, still trying to make sense of everything. Even at a dead hour with only a few patrons milling about, this place still smells strongly of liquor. Honestly, I've never grown fond of it. Regardless of how many times I've made a trip or sat here on the same spot, just talking with the old man, I've never been fond of drinking in the first place. Yet oddly, it's the nasty odor of a brewery that helps clear the mind this time, along with the lack of the establishment's usual hubbub and the occasional clinking of glasses. Even more bizarre is that through my lack of words, G doesn't say anything, although it's clear from the way his mouth has curved up in a tight frown that he has questions, a bucket load of it. He wisely keeps it shut. Instead, he simply focuses back on his work. Rinse, wipe, stash away, repeat. Going through the motions with such familiarity is almost a trance. Watching his precise movements quietly like this, with these thoughts swimming inside my head, it's easy to lose track of everything around me. One solid lead on this, one possible way to sort this out, but will it work? Especially if my assumption is correct, and that the reason Zach was there yesterday morning was because of the curse. Something must have happened there for him to see the need to visit the place that morning. What if the couple has fallen victim to the curse too? Ooh, yeah, they might. Actually, we don't even know what happened to Hannah. I think the last time we left Hannah was when she was trying to look down into the cellar, right? And I think that's all we saw. It doesn't fall outside the realm of possibility. I've been so biased, not even thinking that they might be in danger as well. But during the open house with Isabella, they might have seen the letter and... Fuck.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. Some fucking detective I am.
That's likely the moment when Cooper saw it. Rose! If the logic holds, I need to hurry there right away, and if there are answers anywhere, it would be there. It should be there, where all of this fucking mess started. It's not only my life on the line here, there are others. What happened to us, I won't wish on anyone else, no matter how much I loathe them, or how complicated all of this has suddenly become. The letter, the woman, the mansion, and now there are voices lacing venom inside every crevice of my head, murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride whenever an opportunity presents itself.
Because you didn't listen.
Oh, is that our voice?
All your fault.
Oh, that was Zach's and this is Rebecca's voice.
Why won't you believe me?
Isabella? A reminder of what I failed to do and who I failed. At some point, they all begin to blur together, twining and coiling, every horrid image and memory of her seeking the forefront of my mind. No matter how much I refuse to remember the fear I felt then, to push it as far back as I can, the visions come to me like a deluge. And before I know it, before I can drown, another voice pulls me out of it.
Doing good there, boy?
Oh, hey, G. His hand is on my shoulders, gripping it tightly and giving me a light shake. There's relief in his face when I finally look up at him, although his frown appears more distinct than the concern in his eyes. It's deeper now, marred with worry and agitation. He does let go when I offer him a small nod, but the furrow between his eyebrows never leaves his face. He always has a knack for reading people, after all, even someone who can be as closed off or distant like me. In all the time I spent in the Force, there's only one other person who's as keen as this old guy, the Chief. Because they look alike, don't they? Funny and weird to some degree. I've pointed it out to him so many times before how much they look alike. Oh my god, we were just saying that. Only for the observation to be brushed off with a vehement tone. You know, I think the developers of the game intentionally did that. Like, they used the same model and then they just kind of graze it off as like, you know what, we'll put it in the text so that no one will find this fishy. I've never brought it up again after the third time, out of respect for the guy. Whatever it is, it's clear it's something he doesn't want to talk about. Maybe the brothers? Why push, right? However, during times like this, it's impossible for the thought not to come up. He even has the glare down pat. Under his wordless scrutiny, I feel like a damn rookie again.
You're looking a bit green. Sure you got plenty of rest back there? You were only out for an hour or two. Wouldn't hurt to try and get some sleep. I'll keep an eye out.
No need. Don't worry about me. I won't be able to get some sleep anyway.
Not with her face still a clear picture in my head, no.
Dad, I heard that from you before. Not buying it. What's the story this time? This as bad as that case with the guy who ate his own eyeball.
Ugh!
I wish it were. Jesus, stop reminding me. I hated that case.
Sounds gross.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you get a kick out of telling people about it.
It's useful, you know, for blokes who don't know their limits. Sends them right out the door after I start with a description. Or was it the part when the poor schmuck gouged his eyes out?
Oh!
Nasty, awful, icky stuff, and it gets the job done. Like I said, useful. Don't even need to call security these days if I want to kick someone out. Anyway, pretty sure that pales in comparison to whatever this is now. I haven't seen you this stressed out since I closed that case. The one from 10 years ago with your professor friend.
Oh, Professor Andrew.
Abigail and her team weren't able to solve that one, G. No one has been able to. It just went cold.
Same difference. But what do I know, eh? I just serve drinks, listen to people's problems and their whining, then make sure they get home safe afterwards. Thing is, I'm also not blind, kiddo. And you can bet your ass I can tell when a person's about to fall apart.
All of us are.
What? Is this some form of therapy from you? Are you going to offer me free drinks now?
Ooh. Really, I can use some right now. Something to numb the senses. No, don't. But when has that helped anyone?
In your dreams, kid. Last time someone gave you the hard stuff, your photographer friend had to haul you out of this place almost half naked.
What?
Hey, I can handle my liquor when I put my mind to it.
Not from what I've seen, nope. Besides, you usually avoid drinking. Either way, it's out of the equation. And when booze no longer counts, we just talk. So, talk. It's not like anyone within earshot will care. That chap over there only wants his cricket matches.
I doubt you believe it, G.
I've heard worse stuff. Try me.
You know that mansion down at Anslem?
Yeah, who doesn't? You live in this town long enough, it's impossible not to hear a thing or two about it. Bloody locals.
Well, my friend found a primitive version of a chain letter in there. Now that we've seen it, we're cursed.
Oof. A beat passes. For a long moment, G stands there, unmoving. His hand stops short of placing the glass he's been wiping prior back to the rack on his left. All while he stares at me with eyes that are nothing short of scrutinizing. He probably assumes I'm joking. Who wouldn't? Not a week ago, I've been put in the same position. Even now, in spite of the things I've seen and heard, it simply won't sink in. Or maybe this is just desperation creeping in. The idea that I may not be able to find a way out of this. Whatever the case is, for people who hasn't experienced what I'm going through, this will merely sound like an awful Halloween prank.
It's not a prank.
This must have been what Isabella felt the whole time we made fun of her that day.
This isn't a prank. I saw something.
Now it's too late. We're stuck in a never-ending nightmare where the only way out might be death, and like I've expected, G's reaction to it, an amused laughter. It booms throughout the whole pub after a long bout of silence, like I've just told him a particularly funny joke.
Okay. Good one, kid.
We deserve
You
it.
don't want to spill. No one's forcing you. Seriously, though. Good one.
Although I want to be angry with him, I can't find it in myself. Can't even muster the energy for a scowl or a glare. Nothing but a taste of my own medicine to temper the annoyance bubbling up in me, I suppose. Yep, it is definitely a taste of our own medicine. In the end, echoing her words is the best I can do.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, all right. Good luck with that. You're on your own. Here I thought you didn't have an ounce of humor in that body. Guess I'm wrong.
He shakes his head, lets out another chuckle before returning to his task. By now, almost half of the glasses have been put away. The only ones remaining are the smaller kind used for shots and stemmed one for cocktails. Despite being busy with his task, his amusement does not entirely disappear from his face. He keeps talking as if I'm simply another customer he entertains with his stories, but we both know it's more than that. It's if the wistful expression on him says anything.
Man, can't believe you're the same rookie who walked in here almost a decade ago. Too smart for his own good, that boy. Has always been 2 steps ahead of things. Now he's here, sulking.
I must have screwed up somewhere then.
I must have screwed up a lot. For things to suddenly shift like this, for me to become a mere shadow of the person I used to be.
Nah, I don't think so. You trying to drink your worries away? Like last time? That was screwed up. This one? Screwed up? Not by a mile. It's too early to say. You've still got several years ahead of you, Holmes. Take it easy. But some things change, eh? It has been years, and you were a kid back then. You know, the sort that's a bit unsure, making all the horrible decisions in life he'd eventually be embarrassed to talk about.
You never stop calling me kid, though.
Well, you still are.
Always.
It's just that this time, you're sure of who that badge and gun is for. What was it you police types usually say? To protect and serve, yeah?
A significant pause follows at his heels from both of us as he allows his meaning to sink in and spur something in me, stirring a feeling both heavy and forceful, but not completely unwelcome, familiar. Though, before I can even clarify what he's trying to imply or gather my thoughts on the matter, G turns away to begin his work on the silverwares. He'll need those too once more of his patron come in for lunch. Slow and easy. A sharp contrast with the strained air we've been wading through these past weeks. A fleeting moment, but one I allow myself to relish, if only because of his absence lately, and the way things are now, this is almost a gift. So, when it all ends with the loud shuffling of foot from the adjacent hallways, a sigh is all that leaves me. There's no need for me to look up to know who it is. Zach's treads alone are telling. There's always a weighted set to them, steps that are taken with a lazy cadence, like he's always trying to make himself smaller, less conspicuous than he actually is. In a place he's unfamiliar with, he also tends to linger, stand awkwardly at the sides, as if he's all too afraid to break something. That, or he's waiting for permission of some kind. Either way, he's never been the kind to barrel headfirst into things or forego courtesy, despite appearances. Much like how Rebecca's mother Henning belies her fiery temperament, or Isabella's rare display of maturity appears at odds with her youth. There has been a lot of those in my life, it seems, more so from the people I've grown closer to over the years. Walking contradictions we all are. It's a wonder how we end up as friends in the first place, but maybe that's also exactly why, to some extent, there's still an understanding in there, in knowing that no matter how long you've been together, or how familiar you are with a person's habits, or how many lifetimes there might be for all of you, one can never fully know a person. Sometimes it works because they merely chose to stay. Sometimes it's as simple as someone extending a hand first for an apology, regardless of every hurtful word said.
Hey, Ash?
Yeah, Zach? This time I glance at him, briefly gauging the mood. Not because reconciliation's an issue for me between us, it never will be. But somehow, this is another thing I'm all too afraid to see crumble in front of me. One wrong word, if this is going to end in another argument, we might as well stop as early as now. There's another long pause from him, during which he can't seem to figure out what to do with his hand. In the end, he chooses to stuff both in his pockets and trains his eyes at the now empty space behind the counter. Without our notice, G has slipped back to the kitchen, leaving only the two of us and everything awkward in the world at the moment. Oof. Still, Zach trudges on, a hopeful tone slipping into his voice, simply because it's the only thing he knows to do.
Did you, get any sleep?
I don't think so. It's a start at least, a stiff one, but a start. The least I can offer in return is that rare honesty.
For a few hours, yeah.
Curt. Brusque. Is that how I say it? Brusque? Not an ounce of friendliness in it. In spite of it, Zach takes it as a sign. Relief washes over him as his shoulders relax and he releases a tense breath. Soon he's closing the distance he has put between us and flops onto the chair to my
I
right.
think the better question is if the dreams are pleasant. And for the record, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get those a lot.
Nightmares. He shifts in his seat, coughs, drums his fingers on the counter for a short while, then falls silent. That's it, no apologies. Somehow, that short exchange is all we needed. The air changes again, much like everything we've known lately. Maybe not for the better, not yet, however. It's less suffocating, with less hostility and resentment. The kind where it's easy to pretend, easy to forget. Not that it's a thing that'll happen anytime soon, but one can dream. In a situation where death might come knocking anytime, it's these little hope we cling to. Hopes, I think. It had to have a plural, right? It's these little things we wish will happen again. I'm not an optimistic person by nature. Hopefully, maybe, but never optimistic. Though I want to believe there's a way we'll live through this nightmare. For the sake of the one we've almost lost. Oh no, poor Isabella. If I can help it, I don't want her to wake up from this nightmare. It'll only break her. She'll blame herself. It's just funny how it took all of this to spur these kinds of thoughts in me. I can't even remember the last time something like this has occurred to me. For some reason, after seeing one harrowing thing after another, I've simply forgotten.
Why are you suddenly smiling like that?
Huh? Oh, no, I was just thinking about something.
Isabella?
Well, it better be something that'll get us out of this mess.
What makes you think I know how to fix this? Until 2 days ago, I didn't even believe a word you guys have been telling me. Zach, I function better when I'm dealing with homicide cases. Hell, feel free to throw in the usual robbery and missing persons case into the mix. I don't care. Give me a few days and I'll give you a lead. This isn't how I operate. This isn't what I'm good at.
I don't think this is
For
what
all
anyone's
you know,
good at.
I might even end up getting us killed. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, the fact that you're frustrated but still trying already means something, Ash. Besides, you don't make that face unless you already have an idea. It can't be any worse than this. Maybe it's on your mind, Ash.
There really is something about Z-Man. Between Rebecca and him, I tend to share with him things I won't normally say to the other. Unlike her, who pushes, sometimes with the same tenacity as her moods, Zach has this strange tendency to ease people into telling him what he wants to know. Oftentimes, the question feels so subtle, it catches me off guard with less force and more forbearance. After all, out of everyone, he's the most grounded. Really, he's like the older brother I never had. The kind you can depend on when things go sour. The kind you tell things to simply because he'll listen, without forcing his own opinions on you.
We still have one more lead we haven't checked. I'm gonna look into it tonight.
It doesn't take him long to put two and two together, and his calm expression abruptly dissolves to worry, the second he realizes what I meant. What do we mean? We've already examined the letter, read through piles of documents. There's really only one we haven't given a once-over. The mansion. Oh no, are we going back to... Oh, we're going to the mansion, aren't we? Of course, Zach may not be the kind to push, but that doesn't mean he agrees with everything that comes out of my mouth. It's his way of keeping me steady on my feet through the years.
Hold on, didn't you tell me not to go in there? Whatever happened to stay away from Luke Wright?
You're an unarmed civilian, Zach.
And so?
So, I want you to stay here and keep yourself safe. I probably won't take too long, but I don't know what might happen. I'm not even sure if I'll find something in there. G will keep an eye on you guys.
Oh no, we're going
If
alone?
you need anything, that woman shows up, just holler. He'll help out, no questions asked. You don't even need to explain anything.
He's not willing to concede, not from the manner he grips his knees or the rigid set to his jaw.
I'm going with you. You can't go in there alone, Ash. I heard something the morning I was there. I heard someone scream, and then there was a woman crying, and
Right from the
I
window.
don't know what's going on inside that mansion, but I am telling you, you shouldn't face whatever's inside alone.
That's true. Before I can stop myself, a heavy breath escapes from my mouth. It's one of those times again where Zach means well, but he's completely missing the point I'm trying to make. When things take a turn for this, when he gets in a mood like this, he's almost as headstrong as Isabella. How and where do I even start? Should we, number one, you only get in the way, or number two, I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. What do you guys think we should say? I think there's an obvious choice here if we want to get our relationship with Zachary up even just a little bit. But of course, it's up to you because different endings, blah, 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 depending on our relationships with different people. So I'll leave this to you guys. If you want me to say, you'll only get in the way, type in number one. If you want me to say, I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you, type in number two. Number two, you want to go gentle? All right, let's go for it, Ruth. I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. Let's see that. I think that's... Yep, it was a plus. Yeah. I think that one was quite obvious. There are only two ways this will end. I agree with him and take him with me, or I agree with him and drop the idea altogether. Neither appeals more than the other, especially when we're all desperate for answers and a way out. If all it will take is a little more honesty to make him drop this harebrained idea, so be it.
Look, man. Bro. Z-Man. Zach. Zachary, listen.
Oh my god.
I know you only want to help,
Like hell! This ain't just about helping, Ashton! You're throwing yourself in the thick of it on your own! Was your fall last night really that bad? Did you hit your head hard? I honestly can't tell if you've gone stupid or just plain suicidal.
My head's okay, Zach. But it won't stay that way if we don't do anything about this. Someone has to.
Seriously, this is already a desperate move. The longer we dally, the faster we're losing our options. Do we even have one? Looking back at it, this whole business with the ghost seems perfectly set up to drive us into a corner, either until we lose our minds or she gets us. It's starting to feel as if there isn't an escape. We've already become her playthings the second Isabella found that letter. That our lives are in her hands ticks me off big time, but the idea of watching the people I care about die helplessly, more so. They're much safer here than with me. It's a selfish thought, I know, born out of fear. So, in case things go awry, the very last thing I want to happen is for Zach to take the fall with me. Aww, I've already made enough mistakes.
And that means it's just you.
Just me.
Suddenly, he clams up. Although his actions, the restless shift in his shoulders, his mouth pressing close to a tight line, and how he starts off again in a quiet tone, it all gives away his real thoughts, long before two words have even made it out of his mouth.
I'm sure you already know about this. This won't really bring her back.
Oh man.
Maybe this is you trying to make amends, or whatever. I don't know. You're making your own decisions here. But if something happens to you, it'll be just that. You'll just be another dead body out there. Please, don't do something like this.
Oh,
Don't
Zach.
worry. I'm not stupid enough to get myself killed. I just want things to go back to normal, Zach.
Oh. Another dead air follows at the heels of that one admission. The meaning of my words, too heavy, too striking, it stuns us into another lull. Optimism aside, we're both aware that's impossible. We're going to have to deal with the trauma right after. There will be the images, the voices whispering inside our heads, the foreboding feeling, the stench of blood, gore, and death trailing after us. We may survive this, but those things, they will remain in us for a long time. One does not survive something like this without it leaving something in you. Just the mere thought of what might come right after makes me dread it. What this has changed in all of us. But I suppose that outcome is more acceptable. The less of two
3
evils.
hours.
My head snaps up and I turn to him, puzzled. He's staring at his hands with a thoughtful expression, brows furrowed in deep concentration, like he's trying to choose the right words to convey what he's about to say.
3 hours? For what?
That's more than enough time to go there, to check things, like you said, and travel back here. If you don't show up here beyond that, I'm going after you.
From his tone, it sounds almost like a warning. I'm not sure if it's his intention, but hearing something like that from a person like Zach, I can't help but chuckle and throw in a jibe, despite how dire things are. Just like the old
Make that
times.
4.
What? You said you're just gonna check things. Why would you even need that long?
Speed limit? I'm a ranked law enforcement officer, Zach. I'm supposed to set an example.
I so wanna punch you right now.
Of course, Zach never carries it out. In light moments like that, it's just how he is. How we are. Unfortunately, G chooses the next moment to show up. He slams the flat of his palm on the counter and shooting us both a stern look. Although his tone's nothing short of jovial, the disappointment's clear in it. He's obviously misunderstanding the situation.
Boys, drummer's nice and all. I used to watch these bloody god-awful afternoon serials with one of my brothers many, many years ago. But listen, I am not having one in my pub, alright? You two want to fight? Go out.
A pregnant pause. I've never heard that adjective used like that. Then, without any preamble, Zach and I are both snickering at G's glower melts into... Well, sorry, it took me a while to even, register that. Then, without any preamble, Zach and I are both snickering, and G's glower melts into confusion. When we both show no sign of stopping, he simply shakes his head and turns away. I like to think it's better this way. Better that we part on light terms, so Zach won't have to see every little insecurity, every little doubt in me right now. He's seen enough. The last thing I want him to glimpse is another display of weakness. Not when he still stares at me with the same unerring confidence in his eyes. When our mirth dies down, before anything can be said further, before I change my mind, I step away from them, giving Zach's shoulder a quick few pats, mumbling a lame excuse about taking another short nap under my breath, although burying the stray thought that flashes fleetingly in my head. Zach has seen me at my lowest plenty of times. Why does it all matter? Why does all of it matter now? The sun hangs lower when I stumble back into consciousness and drag myself downstairs. Around this time, the patrons usually start to trickle in the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. Oh no, so we took a nap and now it's the evening, now it's dark, and we're going to the mansion in the dark? Ah, man. But considering what day it isn't too worrisome for the kind of business G runs. He has always complained about the lack of a decent crowd on week start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover, after all, even him. Which makes the concerned look he gives me come off a bit too odd. With the kind of danger we're in, this swiftly puts me on edge even before sleep completely fades from my mind.
Something wrong, G?
G hums, but there's an undertone of annoyance in it despite his casual open movements, and only after he finishes wiping a tumbler and carefully settles it face down on the table does he give me an answer. The way he stares back at me honestly makes me squirm. It feels like I'm being stared down by my primary school teacher for sleeping in class again.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you, might want to check on your friends, kid.
Who?
Looks like one of them woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Rebecca? Zach? Another question forms in my head along with a small confused frown. Though before a single syllable slips past my mouth, he gestures his head on the far side of the pub's main lounge. In a corner, Rebecca paces in deep thought with a scowl on her face. From the looks of it, it appears woke up on the wrong side of the bed is a complete understatement. In fact, I think she might hit the next person who tests her temper. Turns out, sleep isn't just what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it, in spite of his efforts to look as unconcerned as possible. There's a tense set on his shoulders. A nervous edge lingers in his eyes as it occasionally flickers over Rebecca. He doesn't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Neither do I. Rebecca's mood can be quite volatile. But the imploring gaze G directs at me leaves me no other choice. It almost feels like he's guilting me into doing something about it. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, no people in sullen moods, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing. Go fix it before it turns into something chaotic.
It's probably not as petty if Rebecca's already in that state, but I give him a nod nevertheless.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of a sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We're the same in that regard. Can't remain still. Always have to stay moving, doing something, thinking, whatever keeps the brain at work. I leave him to it shortly after. Part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he has taken for people he barely even knows. Once this is over, I should probably find some way. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns into a shitstorm. The area of the pub she's in is almost deserted. I'm willing to bet my entire life savings that people are staying away only because of the brewing storm. Rebecca can have quite the mood when she's crossed. Whatever's pissed her off this time, the way she's glaring at the wall already says everything. Before I can approach and intervene though, Rebecca soon slumps onto the chair. Gingerly, she reaches up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. She only looks like this when stress has drained both her patience and energy, usually more than her rowdy students do, despite being no stranger to it. In the quietness of the room, I find myself drifting towards her and taking the empty seat next to her. Shortly, she leans her shoulders to mine, like she used to, all those years ago. Back when all that mattered to us were grades and what kind of trouble we'd get into the next weekend. Ka-chang, hello! You just finished Genshin just then? How was it? How'd you go, man? How long did you stream for? Because I was lurking the whole time back then, but I couldn't get involved with the Kave dating sim. 4 hours, damn! Otsukare-sama desu. Good work, mate. It was long? Wow. Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to it then. Oh, I don't want to do that quest either. No! Back when all that mattered to us were grades and what kind of trouble we'll get into the next weekend. No curse, no letter, no ghosts. Just us and whenever our imagination will take us.
How are you holding up?
Barely, but I'll be fine. It's probably just this curse thing getting to me.
That bad, huh?
Well, yeah, it's a curse. She makes a face having been caught in her lie before allowing a small smile to replace it.
Excuse me, you're stuck in this nightmare too.
At least you're not shouting at anyone. That's something you don't see every day. I think you scared G for a bit there.
I just can't wait for this whole thing to be over. That way we can go back to how everything used to be.
Hopefully.
You know that's impossible.
Really? A truth. And we both falter into silence in the face of it. Her mouth opens briefly, and I assume she's about to argue her opinion about it. Maybe say something contrary to it? But eventually, she simply nods, breathes out, and relaxes her rigid posture. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Seeing it, a smile spreads across my face, knowing and perhaps a little pleased. It's one thing to know of change. Watching it play out in front of me is an entirely different matter. In that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what has shifted, of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years, we will never be the same person we once were, and perhaps it's for the better. Rebecca notices soon enough, like she always did. Whatever she sees in my face startles her, causing her to jerk away.
Why are you staring at me like that?
Nothing. Don't mind me.
I know that look, Ashton Frey. That's definitely not a nothing. You wouldn't be wearing that expression if you didn't have something on your mind.
What's on our mind?
Really? It's nothing. It's just that when we were kids, you weren't really the kind of person who spoke her mind. Someone else always had to stand up for you.
Oh.
You've changed a lot, Becca.
What did you expect? It's been, what, 17, 18 years?
Damn.
What I'm trying to say is, I think I like this version of you more.
Aww. A beat.
Except when you're mad, and you're yelling, and you're glaring daggers at everyone. You're pretty scary, you know.
Well, don't say that so casually.
Is she
Also,
tsundere?
if you're just going to complain, we might as well just end this talk right now.
See what I mean? Even Z-Man's scared of you. I'd bet my entire salary on it.
She swats at my arm, the gesture light and familiar. It causes us to burst into peals of laughter afterwards. When was the last time we shared something like this? I can't even remember. It's nice though. To have another conversation like this, to sit side by side, simply enjoying each other's company. I'm not very fond of looking back to the past. Most of it means having to remember unpleasant things for me, but sometimes, coiled around the bad, there are good ones. And Rebecca's there for the most of it. Things may change, but her friendship is one thing I will hold dear. We may meet new people throughout our lives, but that doesn't mean I will care for her any less. Which makes this whole business with the letter even more urgent. I still have one lead. With what's at stake, I can't let this curse win. If such a thing even makes sense when dealing with the supernatural. Tonight, by any means, I need to go back to that accursed place. No, we're going back to the mansion. Alone. Because who knows what we might find in there. Man, I really wish we would all go. You know, like, that's the worst thing, especially in horror movies, to go there alone. Whether or not the rest of them agree with this plan is inconsequential. Their well-being is my top priority, and I'm not just about to drag them in there with me. My apprehension must have been quite obvious in my face. In a sudden motion, Rebecca reaches out and taps my arm. Although she does it gently, it startles me. Nevertheless, it's enough to put a worried look on her. For a moment, she studies my face, eyes scrutinizing, searching. But before I can even avert my gaze, keep her from getting a read on me, she straightens, her worry abruptly fading into a look of disapproval. Can't wait, finally some content. It is a very long story, that is true.
You have a plan in mind, don't you?
It's a simple yes or no question. I can't easily lie. Yet, her tone completely belies everything her words mean. I may as well tell her everything. When all is said and done, she's still one of the few people I trust. However, every vein in my body knows she'll be the first one to disagree, put her foot down and stop me. And when she does, who else will be left to fix this? Zach? Her? I do understand her concerns, but there are times when they are misplaced. This complication isn't what I need at the moment. But what am I supposed to say? What is she expecting to hear from me? What answer will satisfy her? She certainly appears like she's hoping for more than a yes or no for an answer I can't give at the moment. What else then? Alright, so what should I say to her, guys? So everyone here on either Twitch or on YouTube, let me know. Type in number 1 if you want to keep her in the dark, or number 2, offer a vague answer. Oh, none of these are good options, guys. But yeah, we can only do number 1 or number 2. Honkai Star Rail 1.1 is out tomorrow. Yes. Oh yeah. I actually can't wait for that one. Oh right, yeah, that's the content. Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. Silver Fox really want to get that new character. Number 2, Ruth. So all right, we'll go with number 2 then. Offer a vague answer.
I need to head off somewhere tonight.
Oh god, a vague answer. How did that look? That was a plus. Okay, so we got Rebecca's relationship up a little bit. It's all I can offer, and hopefully this will be enough. It's not an outright lie, but that though doesn't make me feel any less awful about this. It's worse when you know she's asking only because she's worried. Part of me wants to tell her admit exactly what I'm planning tonight. What good will it do though? I've already told Zach one person is enough. Hell, simply letting someone in on a plan makes me iffy. Broadening that circle and revealing too much would just cause another pointless concern. No, reveal everything! Oh. But someone has to be aware, at least of where I'm heading off to, in case things don't pan out. Expect the worst, even if I've only intended to do a quick survey of the place. Well shit, I mean, we could die, so in my own words, risky. Yep. Rebecca doesn't need to know the kind of danger I might be throwing myself in tonight. She should prioritize herself and her own safety first before others. But it's never that easy with her, isn't it?
Am I allowed to ask questions this time?
You're asking one right now, aren't you?
Oh my god, Ash.
It's a serious question, Ashton. Yes or no?
You can, but I can't promise I'll answer them.
Ugh.
That's a nice way of saying no. You might as well just tell me to shut up.
You know I don't mean it like that.
Is there something I can do at least?
For an instant, I hesitate, pausing, fumbling for an answer. It's more difficult with her because of all this time, she still looks to me as if I'm the same kid from years ago, who she depended on when she has yet to find herself, who she turned to for answers despite my lack of them. It makes me all the more afraid to fuck up this time. And in case I do, she's the last person I want to be with me. Getting her into trouble, getting her killed, is not how I want to repay the friendship she has so generously offered after all these years. My friends are not supposed to be the ones taking the repercussions of my mistakes. Those are of my own doing, of my own responsibility. A fear, a heavy weight on my shoulders they shouldn't be dragged into carrying. However, if there's one thing I can trust her with...
Stay safe. Keep Z-Man safe. Watch over him while I'm out there. Make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. You're good with that kind of stuff.
I'm a high school teacher, Ash, not anyone's babysitter.
A grimace is on her face, but I know she'll do it. Even without asking for it, she cares. More than anyone, more than what her fiery temper expresses. And it eases something in me, knowing the Zach will have someone like her here. I think they mean knowing that. T-H-A-T. Sure enough, after a stench of silence, she eventually nods. She does not entirely agree with this. It's in the distant look on her face, but she's willing to trust me on this. For now, that's enough. Either way, it's best that we simply leave things here for now. There's already an understanding, albeit something we both don't agree with. No need to push it further. With a light, reassuring squeeze on her shoulder, I stand up. At the same time, footsteps shuffle from the pub's entrance, and cheerful chatter suddenly fills the room as a group of people enters. It's all the distraction I need. Muttering excuse and flashing Rebecca a quick smile, I beat a hasty exit out of the main lounge and leave her on her own, despite the troubled look she shoots me. Before Rebecca can say what's on her mind, before the last frustrated glare she directs my way forces me to change my mind, it's another lasting image that firmly etches itself in my memory, one that spurs the conscience, among other things. I just hope I won't regret what I've chosen for myself tonight. Galway Shore's Monday night crowd, although small and barely occupies a quarter of the whole pub, provides ample enough cover for anyone who wishes to leave the place unnoticed. Just exactly what I need tonight, with the lively music and chatter slipping out mostly unseen becomes a piece of cake. Without much trouble, soon enough I find myself standing outside under the chilly Luxbourne night. A gust of wind picks up shortly after I step out, carrying the telltale smell of an impending rain. I'll give it about an hour or two before it starts. From the looks of it, tonight will be another downpour, maybe even stronger than the one we had this morning. On instinct, I hunch further into my jacket, hugging its thick material closer to my body, while I weave my way through the lines of empty cars in the parking lot. 4 hours is all I'm giving myself to get this done. 3 if I'm inclined to go by the rules Z-Man set, but when have I ever? Regardless of how generous that is, each second is just as important as the next. With a brief detour needed, I can't waste time dallying here. If this is all connected, I need that damn piece of paper with me, however ridiculous it sounds. If I remember correctly, it's among the stuff Rebecca brought that first night at the hospital. I'll find out soon enough. I just hope Isabella's aunt hasn't read or disposed of it yet. Ooh, gosh. Are we going to the hospital now? We finally leave 1 hour later. Oh my god, I know it's really long, Ruth. That'll be a whole different problem. So I hurry, one footstep over the other, echoing as I make a beeline for my car. But as with every plan, problems crop up at the last second. It's practically a universal rule, and it does. In the form of a lone figure waiting for me next to my car. Oh, okay, thank God it's just Rebecca. Oh, I read that and I was like, my butthole was puckered. Rebecca turns just as I near, the corners of her mouth twitching up in a wry smile. She offers no greeting except for a slight tilt of her head. Even as my pace slows and I look at her with all the unvoiced questions in my eyes, she remains wordless, merely throwing her head back and shifting her attention up at the starless sky when I come up to stand beside her. Another gust of wind blows as she breathes out a sigh, weary, thick with something close to resignation. The breeze carries all of it away, while she hugs her arms closer to herself to keep warm, which raises the question, why is she out here? Such a good story, but too long? Yeah, right? The air's already heavy with the promise of rain, with clouds obscuring the view. There's really nothing left to look at but a dark blanket of nothingness. There's a lot of description in, like, I feel like it was from the moment Rebecca's chapter came along, there was so much more of me, P5, reading rather than actual dialogue, is what I feel. Still, she stands here as if she's intentionally waiting for everything to fall. That, or she's here for some other reason. But before I can voice a single word, express a disapproval of any kind, she raises a halting hand to me, sharply cutting off the rest of my question.
I'm not here to stop you. Wherever it is you're planning to go off tonight, I won't be able to anyway. You look like you've already made up your mind.
Yes, we have.
Go back inside. It's going to rain soon. It'll probably be even heavier than the downpour we had this morning. You wouldn't want to be caught in it.
Oh god, rain.
I will, in a moment.
Rain horror.
I just want to stay out here a bit for some air, away from the noise inside. Everything's been so chaotic these days. This little break is nice. Even if it means standing in the middle of a parking lot, of all places. Getting out of this mess would definitely be better, but hey, you take what you can get, right?
Oh, thanks, Ruth.
It'll be over soon.
The confidence in my own words surprises even me. How do I know? Why am I so sure? When in truth, what I'm about to do is a last-ditch effort. If this fails, if I don't find anything, we're back to square one. It's the last lead I have. After this, we have nothing else to go off from. Regardless, it seems to amuse her, and her laughter soon sounds above the murmur of the distant traffic and the light draft sweeping around us.
How I wish. I'll be content as long as she stops showing up in my mind whenever I close my eyes.
I think that may take some time. The brain doesn't easily forget trauma.
Yeah, who is the ghost?
I can try. But, you know, it also did a lot to us.
Tell me about it. The back of my head's still smarting from my fall last night.
Oh yeah.
Not that kind. I'm talking about us. As people. I hate to admit it, but this whole deal with the ghost, with the curse, it also brought out an ugly side to us. To all of us.
Yeah,
And-
true.
And it made me realize plenty of things. About myself, about us.
Yup. Rebecca trails off. Suddenly, a pensive expression spreads across her face. I've seen it countless of times before. And every time I see it on her, it's usually followed by a memory, a silly story, or even something embarrassing I've said from childhood. Unlike me, who would much rather forget, she remembers each of them easily. And after a short bout of silence, when she smiles, I know this is one of those times
Do
again.
you remember that one time, back in secondary?
Which one? We did a lot of dumb things back then. Well, I did, but you get the point.
Mandy.
I thought you still don't like her. Don't tell me you've kept in contact with her.
Mandy?
Are you guys friends now or something?
Oh no. We do see each other sometimes. On the way to work or when I go out for lunch, but it's nothing like that.
Aw.
We're not friends. Not in this lifetime. I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever get along, but if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't even be friends, yeah?
Hmm.
You stood up for me that day. And from then on, things have changed.
She makes it sound like I'm some sort of hero. Mandy was in the wrong, of course, I'll defend her. If no one's going to stand up for her, who else will? Chances are, it would have escalated and who knows, maybe she would have stopped going to school or transferred. Any decent human being with an ounce of sense should know better. I act it because I know what I'm doing is what's right. It's as simple as that. Yet, she smiles as if it's worth more than that. A fondness that goes beyond nostalgia.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is,
Oh god.
this time, I don't want this to go unsaid.
She's confessing.
You know, just in case something happens, Ash.
Yes?
I've always been in love with you.
She says it so plainly, holding my gaze and in a voice too frank that her admission stuns me into silence, like the wind has suddenly been knocked out of me in one fell swoop. Oh man, is it because we reached this level of friendship here that we got this scene? Oh my god! No words will form, not even a single coherent thought as the meaning of her words bear down on me. Nevertheless, she continues, desperate to express everything she has kept to herself all these years. This is what the fondness is. Why, for her, it weighs heavier than any feelings of nostalgia can carry.
Since that time in secondary, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Oh! Afterwards, there is a relief, a weight suddenly being lifted from her shoulders after so long. She closes her eyes and lets out a breath. When she looks back to me, though, there's nothing but hope in them. Eyes that are searching for an answer. Facing the sincerity behind her words, I find myself grasping, scrambling for the words. Because as much as this pains me to admit, I can't give her the same affection she's asking from me. Oh, man. So, if our relationship with Isabella was lower, would we have gotten with Rebecca? Oh, man. We might have spent so many years alongside each other. Hell, we practically grew up together. But that never automatically means I'll ever hold her feelings that goes beyond the boundaries of friendship. I do appreciate her presence in my life. I'm more than glad that she has stuck with me, even though through the toughest moments. Even when she finds me difficult or aggravating. However, it's really all there is to it. She's a close, important friend to me, but nothing more. Oh no!
Rebecca,
I draw in a breath, ragged, unsure, uncertain how and which words to put together so it will hurt her less, so the wounds they might leave won't be as deep or scar. Oh, but she already knows. She heard us already talking to Isabella in the hospital. Though before I can even string two phrases together, she lifts a hand to my mouth and silences me. A smile on her face, kinder than every single one I've seen from her so far. It's nice to see it on her. It suits her more than her glares or the frowns. But at the same time, it only serves to baffle me.
You don't have to answer me.
Yeah, but you should... I should...
No, I mean, you don't need to.
Okay, now I'm really confused. One moment you're saying you've been in love with me since secondary, now you're telling me to shut up?
Yep.
If you want to interpret it like that, all right.
No, really. Some explanation would be nice, Becca. Because a lot of things are going on right now, and I'm afraid I can't catch up. Especially with this curveball you just threw.
It means what it means, Ashton. You don't need to answer me. I don't really need to hear it anymore. It's not that I don't want to. Believe me, if I were the same person I was before this whole thing happened to us, I'd be elated, excited even. But like I said, I also realized some things.
Yep, she has.
Understood myself more. Ash, I did love you. Ever since we were kids, all those times you defended me from bullies. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Even after this.
Aww.
But at the end of the day, once you take a closer look at everything, it also turned me into a really selfish person. When you think about it, maybe the Ashton I loved isn't the one standing in front of me right now. Maybe all this time, I'm still clinging on to that aloof kid I met 17 years ago. I didn't even consider that you have a mind of your own. That one day, it won't just be the two of us. That you'll find someone else and it won't be me.
I'm sorry, Becca.
I'm not even sure what I'm apologizing for, that I can't return her feelings, or because I'm somehow holding myself responsible for this, even if up until now I have no idea how she felt. Oh, you dense asshole. Regardless, she continues to smile through all of it.
It's not your fault. Don't say that. I'm the one who should apologize. Since I suddenly sprung this up on you when you have other things to do, I just thought I should let you know, so I can finally let this whole thing go. One question, though. Are you going to tell her when she wakes up?
Tell what to who?
Oh. I pause, frowning, a brief moment of doubt while I try to figure out what she's talking about all of a sudden. When it finally sinks in, though, my bewilderment hastily gives way to the utter embarrassment.
Oh.
Shit. Indeed.
Oh, shit.
Heat abruptly crawls up my face, no matter my efforts to keep it down. In the end, I only look away from her, afraid of what else she'll see in it.
Did you really think no one would notice?
Was it that obvious?
It was surprisingly easy to tell, but that was probably because I've known you longer than anyone.
Fuck, who else knows?
I think Zach suspects.
Shit.
You're embarrassingly lame when you're trying too hard. It's almost painful to watch. Don't worry. With your terrible way of flirting and knowing her, I'm quite sure Belle has no idea, even now. Not even a clue.
Yep, agreed.
Harsh, Rebecca. Really harsh. I could use a vote of confidence, you know.
She laughs, loud, the kind that's free of any burden, ringing above the wind slowly, picking up as the storm clouds approach. Oh god. With it, however, the awkward atmosphere lifts at last. There's only that camaraderie which we've shared since meeting in that classroom 17 years ago.
I'm serious, though. Tell her. And if you ever make her cry, I'll hit you with every damn history book I have on my shelf. Clear?
Noted, ma'am.
Anyway, thanks for hearing me out. I won't keep you long. I know you have things to do. Just promise me you'll be careful, all right?
She doesn't wait for an answer. Instead, she gives me a push, with a force only heavy enough to throw me off balance. Caught unawares by the gesture for a few moments, I fight for purchase against my car's trunk, bracing my hand on its smooth surface. When I look up, with a string of reprimands ready at the tip of my tongue, Rebecca's already halfway through the parking lot. There's a small skip in her steps, while the breeze carries the light tune she's whistling. On a whim, I let its notes be the last thing I commit to memory before slipping inside my car and driving off. It sounds like a new beginning, more than anything. Another reason to be optimistic. Oh no! The wind has already picked up upon my arrival at Ermengarde Hospital. Somewhere, the faint sound of thunder booms, filtering even through the concrete walls of the place. Though sparsely manned around this hour, the on-duty nurses' lively chatter easily fills the lobby. Some recognize and coax me into joining them when I pass by, but all of it has been turned down in favor of rushing straight to Isabella's room. Her aunt's nowhere to be found when I slip inside. On the bed, Isabella remains still with the constant beeping of the machines as the only sign she still lives. Same as the other day, as well as the day before that, nothing has changed in her condition. And every single time I've stepped in this room, the sight of her weak and motionless still sends a painful pang in me. Despite what her doctors have been telling us, despite what happened during our last visit, I'd like to believe she will still make it through. And when she wakes up, all of this will be over.
Hey, scaredy cat. Hang in there, alright? I'm going to fix this mess we're in. And once you're okay, you're buying a whole month's worth of ice cream. Wait for me.
She won't be able to answer, not yet, but I imagine her laughing at me right now, daring me to make good on that silly promise, and I will. Finding the letter among her belongings doesn't take long. Oh, we're here for the letter. I know, it's been a long time since we saw Isabella. 5 minutes later, I'm fishing it out from one of the side pockets of the bag Rebecca brought with her before the second night after Isabella's confinement. Oh god, I got an achievement. Snitching letters. To think no one bothered to throw this away, I guess that's lucky. I mean, look at this thing. I won't take it seriously if it wasn't for all the fucked up shit that's been happening. This is the sort of stupid people pass along as prank through emails and text messages, for fuck's sake. Did people seriously make copies of this and pass them around to try to save themselves from a possible curse? That's the inane logic that could be garnered from the fact that there are multiple victims. Was Isabella not saved because she had simply shown us this one instead of sending 5 different ones? What sort of selfish person would even endanger 5 other people just to save their own skin? More importantly, what does this have to do with the mansion? There'll be time for answers later. I've wasted enough time here. Quickly, I stuff the letter into my pocket. With one last look at the prone form, I close the door behind me and head back to my car. Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Luxbourne and heading straight for Ansem Village. In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. Thunder threatens with a rumble seconds later, echoing long across the heavens, and with one last roar, the skies open in earnest. Oh, great. November 1st now, and it's raining as well, and it's night time, and there's thunder, and we should burn it. Oh my god, yeah, burn it, rip it in half, whatever. Oh my god, let the ghost eat it for all I care. The rain falls in fast, steady sheets, creating a shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in this city, I still despise the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me, I've reached the mansion before the downpour has turned torrential. The long slog from Ansem Village by foot has already made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I've found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, taser, and gun, wow, that's a lot, I've brought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarming party, Scumbag Wright has suddenly grown a brain and tightened the security around the mansion. A guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property, although that's probably because I've kept close to the forest. While I can always create a clever way in for myself under this deluge, it'll be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view, every light is off. Even with the security personnel on patrol outside the whole house itself, it feels empty, eerie, too quiet. Normally, I'll pass it off as some kind of power outage because of the storm. It's not a far off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
Or about to. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressed for time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in, desperately so. Moving without thinking will not only endanger me. With so many unknown variables and what we're dealing with, I also have to act on the assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetuously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. If there's a place he deserves to be at, it's in a prison, not a morgue. Oh no. So when a hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I stir. A woman, perhaps servant, or worse, Hannah Wright. It's coming from the forest. Just right up ahead, in fact. Not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise. Carefully, keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near. Until it abruptly turns to a loud, desperate anguish cry. I break into a run, one nervous hand ready on the gun holstered at my hip, and the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I pay it no mind. There's only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly, it all stops, and I am met with a sudden hush, blank, empty, almost deafening in its stillness, even with my laboured breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me, another branch breaks, and no. Dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. But before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting and tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hands fight for purchase, only to meet air. By then, it's too late. My foot slips further and the rest of my body follows. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. But more than that are the voices lacing venom inside every crevice in my head. Murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride over It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder of what I failed to do and of who I failed. What I'm trying to desperately fix. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles, the world slows to a stop. Oh no, she took us... Oh shit, she took us to where Marianne was! Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally snap open, the soft patter of dripping water somewhere spurring my consciousness further. For a few short moments, I remain still, blinking away the dizziness, allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out first, before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of sharp pain right up my arms and my back, giving me another pause.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
There doesn't seem to be an injury or a major fracture, although the whole of my back does feel sore and raw, probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing myself here. A comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful, and by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I've fallen in, coming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel and brings in the fresh, earthy smell of rain from the top side. Regardless, it fails to mask the old, musty scent of the place, a mixture of bold mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. But when did Mary Ann fall into this place? Because right now it's November 1st, isn't it? It's November 1st, so how long has Mary Ann been in this place? When was the party? I'm pretty sure it was the party, right? 27th. 28, 29. When was the actual party? Because that means Mary Ann must have been here for Lord knows how long. Was it this one? 28th? Discussing the mansion's finishing touches, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it must have been 28. So she's been trapped down here for like, what, 4 days? Oh my god. Excuse herself from attending the party. Yeah, so she's been trapped down here for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 5 if you include 28th. Oh, man. Oh, is she dead? Oh, man. 5 days without food. I mean, wow. Regardless, it fails to mask the old musty scent of the place. A mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. Like death. Oh, no! Mary Ann? More wearisome than the putrid festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them, but I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood. Somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
I don't think he does. Probably not, unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity, have it demolished. The very idea of what has occurred in this place years ago makes me reel as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. This though, if this is just the tip of the iceberg, I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that fucking letter. Now that I look at it, see these torches that have fire on it? Who lit the fire? Was it the ghost? Did the ghost just like... And it's quite clean around here as well. Like, does the ghost clean and like light the torches up? But fear's inconsequential. As pleasant as the sight of this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
I doubt it. Turns out that alone is too much to ask for this early. I heard something. No, 20 paces into it, another sound abruptly rises above my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel before fading away just as swiftly as it rang. I pause, nevertheless straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually move my hand to my side, slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. although cold against my skin. It's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute, I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge, and shadow at the corners of my vision for any movement. After a heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole passage.
Who's there?
Oh my god, that sounds like Marianne. Perhaps it's because of what has happened earlier and how I've ended up here. Or maybe it's because of my training. But in spite of the panic and fear in that voice, I don't immediately answer. Instead, I pull my gun free from its holster and wordlessly draw closer to where the voice rings out once again. Afraid, frantic, weak.
I'm asking you a question. Who's there?
It's only after I've released the safety do I answer, while continuing my approach in a careful, steady pace. Are we gonna shoot Marianne?
I think I should be the one asking you that. Who are you? Show yourself.
I can't. I'm stuck in here.
Are we stuck as well? Did the ghost put us in a cell, or did the ghost just say, meh, fuck it, let's just leave him out in the middle of nowhere, not barred up or anything? Well, a ghost would definitely not be saying that, or have a conversation like this, or be stuck anywhere. And as if to prove her point, she extends a hand from one of the cells ahead and waves. Then she pulls back, grips the iron bars and rattles it lightly.
I can't get out. Can you help?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh shit, is she a ghost? In 5 quick steps, I'm standing in front of the cell, and sure enough, a woman's inside. Slumped on the floor, holding the bars and shaking hands, clinging to it as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. And not just any woman.
You? McLaughlin?
McLaughlin. The same one I met at G's 5 days ago, smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers. McCulloch.
Holmes?
Oh yeah, because she called us Holmes when she was drunk off her face. No, not McLaughlin. McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch, famous interior designer extraordinaire. Oh yeah, that's exactly what she's called herself, didn't she? Not so extraordinary now, with how exhausted and feeble she looks, trapped in a jail cell of all things. Her breathing shallow, and there's a paleness to her complexion, sunken eyes, cracked lips, dry skin, all signs pointing to starvation and dehydration.
What? How long have you been stuck in here?
3 days? 4? I don't know. I have no idea anymore.
4 or 5.
I just fell in, and that woman... Whatever. Can you get me out of here?
Oh, we have lockpicks.
Please.
Lockpicks.
In a moment. But here, go feed yourself first before you fall over.
Do we have a snack? Oh, look at that. I fish out an energy bar from my pocket and hand it to her. She's lucky I always have one on my person. Chocolate cereal energy bar. 1.77 ounces, 50 grams. For sudden emergencies and extended stakeouts, a little sugar to keep me going. Like any starving person, she wastes no time making a grab for it, unwrapping it straight away and taking in a whole mouthfuls of it. Oh my god, we found Marianne! Relief washes over her face on the first bite alone, although she's going to need more than that if what she said is true. But for the moment, it's enough to keep her alive. Good thing she seems to have the sense to prioritize survival over comfort if the puddle on the corner of the cell indicates anything. Oh, because she peed there. Without water, the human body can only survive 3 days, no food, and I'll give it an average of 3 weeks, even then, it won't be a pretty experience. Oh, maybe it's just a puddle of water that she drank for 3 days straight. Oh boy. Granted, some have survived longer than that. She's still fortunate I found her when I did. Oh yeah, really lucky. Now to get her out. My bobby pins won't be of any use here. Oh no! Not like I need it. Unlike the ones we have at the precinct, a simple barrel hinge holds the gate to this cell together. Are we gonna shoot it? Even without any special tools, I'll be able to lift the door and free her. However, with how heavy it seems, I'll need a lever of some sort to help.
What are you looking for?
Oh, she's eating!
Some wood, a 2x4, I guess, a plank or a pipe, anything I can use as a lever. Wait here.
The hallway yields nothing but dust, dirt, and a few russet chains scattered about. While I may find something in one of the open cells, I'm reluctant to check or even step in. Wow, the ghost didn't lock us up? Man, we are really lucky. We can't have another person trapped in here. However, McCulloch ended up inside.
Well, there's no...
My head snaps back to her. McCulloch extricates a wooden board from under the mess of hay and twine near her. Oh god. Without prompting, she slips it through with what little space there is between the bars. In short, but appears thick and sturdy enough for my intended purpose upon close inspection.
Good enough.
I hope. I get to work at once, anchoring the other end of the plank at the base of the door and applying ample force on the other end. It takes a bit of effort, no kidding about the heavy part. Still, a grunt, a gasp, a creak. Oh, we didn't leave her. I think we're okay. In a matter of minutes, with a little help from her on the other side, the door eventually lifts off its hinges. It falls on the ground with a loud, ugly metallic thud, but the sound of it puts elation on McCulloch's face. She doesn't even ask for help. As soon as she can, she hastily crawls out of the prison she has accidentally found herself in. More than happy to get out, despite lacking the strength to stand firmly on her feet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. After the second day, I was so sure I was going to die in there. If you didn't show up, today, I don't even want to think about it.
How did you even end up here?
For a second, she appears hesitant, looking away and fumbling awkwardly with her fingers.
I was looking for something.
No, we came here with her. Oh no, yeah, she was looking for oh shit, what was her name again? What's her girlfriend's name again? Crap, I forgot now. Lorraine. A contemplative expression flickers in her eyes, something that's close to wistful, like when a person remembers a memory she's fond of. It doesn't last too long, but it still leaves me the impression that I've suddenly walked into something private, something deeply personal for her. I'd rather not ask.
So this whole tunnel, at the end of it, it leads right inside the mansion?
The wine cellar.
Right into the kitchen then.
There's a door of some sorts. I don't know. I think I pulled or pressed something somewhere. I was in a hurry, and I'm not sure if it'll open from this side. Hell, this place wasn't even in the floor plans.
Well, that's fine. We can get out the way Ash fell in, right?
What do you mean?
Does that really matter now? We have to get out of here. People died in this place. Kids! Oh God! Kids! I could have shown you, but that thing won't turn back on anymore.
Oh,
it's like it only waited for me to see it before shutting down or something. How long has that thing even been in there?
The camcorder.
But those poor kids. All because of that thing.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about right now?
The ghost.
The bloody letter! Ever since I've read that thing, since that day at the open house, she won't leave me. But it should be fine now, right? I broke it. I broke all of it. She shouldn't be able to do anything now.
You broke the
McCullough,
camcorder?
one at a time.
It's all that fucking paper's fault. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, I'd
Dear
lose my
Lord
mind
and
too.
Saint Adelaide, bless those poor souls. We're not safe here. We need to leave. If we stay here any longer.
McCullough!
McCullough. Abruptly, she stops, looks back at me with wild, panic-stricken eyes. I've seen enough of it so many times these past few days, from my own friends even, to know she has seen things, the kind that'll easily make any person go mad, and perhaps we slowly are. The longer this takes, the faster our descent into it becomes. I can't even tell which one's worse, death or this. Seems like no matter what we end up with, there'll be something horrible waiting for us. I need to hurry.
Listen, I need to get inside this place, and you're more familiar with its layout. If you can help me.
What? No! Why would I go back? Are you sure you haven't gotten raving mad yet? An exit's right here.
And this business with the letter has to end at some point. Look, I know you'd rather see Luke Wright choke on his own wine glass, but...
Damn right I do. He can just go.
But are you really sure you want to leave him like this? And what about his wife?
Oh. Were we on good terms with his wife? Is that why she stops? It strikes a chord. She falters, grows quiet as the tension lifts from her head and shoulders slump. I do understand her issues with this. In fact, she doesn't have to go with me. Only tell me enough info so I can figure it out on my own. She can always leave afterwards, be done with this whole damn mansion and let her. The other end of this tunnel leads right into the forest. It'll provide ample cover for her to be able to slip out of the property unnoticed. All the same, she steels herself and squares her shoulders.
Just until the kitchens.
That's more than enough.
She nods, albeit weakly. Then, without another word, she gestures for me to follow, leading me further into the passage. Oh, McCullough's so brave. Occasionally, she'll stop, find purchase on a wall to catch her breath, but throughout the short walk, she asks for neither break nor assistance. I suppose that's something we have in common. Eventually, we get to a dead end, and although before I can question her on it, she begins palming for something on the wall, tracing her fingers along weathered edges of the bricks with a frown on her
It
face.
should be somewhere here, I think.
What the hell are you doing?
She merely holds up a hand, begging for my silence, and continues searching. Then, without warning, a few minutes later, something clicks. A portion of the wall shifts ajar to reveal a glimpse of another room. Bottles lining the walls, liquor barrels for aging, the wine cellar
The
indeed.
ladder to the kitchen is on the far end of this room.
Surreal. This is all nothing but a surreal nightmare, but after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts? Curses? Hidden passages? I can't even bring myself to question the existence of this door anymore. I simply follow her to the Undercroft without a single question, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. The stuff of mystery and detective novels, daring chase, interesting cases to solve, suspects to put behind bars, justice to serve. I was blinded, I admit. Now, I simply want this to be over. We leave the door open in case there's a need for a quick exit. Smart. Especially after she mentions it's only by chance she has been able to open the door last time. We can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be. With me feeling this high-strung and tense, I'm not even sure why I thought it'll be a good idea to enlist McCulloch's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Really? Even if I'm her safest bet, if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Lorraine?
Did you say something?
McCulloch pauses, mid-step, turning to me, confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard.
Oh
Don't
god.
you think I'll be the first person who'll know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I
it locked?
just want to be done with this place.
All of us are...
See? You dragged another one.
Oh god. This time, I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest, McCulloch shoots me. I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for a familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor, and right on the biggest fragments, they speak. All singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small Undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting
You
me.
dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Oh no, Isabella.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own.
Rebecca.
You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Zach.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in this first instance I've answered. The very second denial has slipped from my mouth, the words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickles into me, spurring the guilt I've hoped I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps? What about Isabella?
Oh god.
She warned you, didn't she? And you think you deserved even an ounce of her love? How dare you even confess your wretched feelings on her bedside? You can't even save her. You can't even do anything for her.
Oh man. It knows.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
They're all
How
right.
does it feel, I wonder, to know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late, and you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
Oh god.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends.
No.
Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Oh man.
Can't even bring Luke right to justice.
We're trying!
Can't even keep his own family together.
Oh, wow. Deep cuts.
No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Man, they are ruthless.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Oof.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are. You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Wow.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows, to hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. But what I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it.
Oh.
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
Oh, really?
Shut it! Not a single word anymore!
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
No, 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 no. No. It laughs, sharp and piercing, as at its sound, something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red filling my vision, and the next thing I know, I'm raising my hand and something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
Oh, she saved us! Oh, McCulloch saved us! The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses. All at once, there is this deafening silence. Slowly, I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding onto my wrist as if to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood drips from wherein has cut my palm, trailing down my wrists until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind, an ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but where every single word has hit. When I glance up at McCulloch, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes. Oh, she stopped us because this happened to her as well when Lorraine was there.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says!
Would we have died if we didn't save McCulloch?
It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shard falters. The mirror shard? But only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugging her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy, perhaps weighted with her own guilt, what this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks off without another comment, but there's worry in her as she gives the fragments one last glimpse. On the ground, they lie lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults, but even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
Oh god.
And you are going to die alone.
Oh man. Oh, can I hear that one more time?
And you are going to die alone.
Oh boy. A fear. One that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. Oh, we're in the kitchen. The trap door swings open without much fuss. It isn't even locked, probably left open for when the Wrights ask for some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCulloch up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master, or doing some extra late night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants, no anyone, and just as easy as that, we're in. Gently, I close the hatch. If things go well, with the same path will be our way out. Oh, I don't really want to use that way out. If our luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. I really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if we simply revel in the little victories. The great blessings when everything else is going against you. And in a place like this, fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob. Ringing out, oh no! Ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCulloch immediately tenses. Her eyes going wide, and she grips the side of the counter with a force that might be enough to crack it, if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. Makes sense of the 3 more days without proper food or water. Ooh, grab some water here! And if this weakness that puts the fear in her eyes, she's aware. If something happens, if there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
Well, that's
You
off.
really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah? We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Oh my god, are we splitting up?
Yes, I said that, but
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
what? I'm not going to leave you.
Aww.
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake.
Maybe. It's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He
Luke.
might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCulloch still appears as if she's about to argue, so instead of more words, I unholster my taser and hand it to her. Oh, we're giving her our taser. Okay. A standard issue for every member of Luxbourne Police Force, but it shouldn't take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Even Isabella may just be able to use it without training. Yet Miss Interior Designer Extraordinaire stares at it as if I've just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you.
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friends what might have happened here. They're at the Crawl. You know the place, right?
Oh yeah, because she was at the bar. I trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this, really. However, I'm going against something almost everyone can't quite understand. I'm just being realistic with my chances. McCulloch seems to understand this as well after what I've said. Any signs of protest has already died from her tongue, and she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continue to grow louder, and I take it as a sign to leave. Without another word, I slip out of the door. Oh no, wait, are we leaving McCulloch with the ghost? Like a siren call, her voice beckons. Oh no, we're going towards the ghost, are we? Finding out who that is seems a good place to start as any. Oh boy. Hello, cowboy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We just freed Marianne. And we gave her a taser. But, we split up again. We fucking split up again. God damn it. I keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need to. The entire place just feels empty. Odd when the house this big should have a large staff. You'd think there'll be 1 or 2 roaming about for some late night chores or someone seeking out whoever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless the security means the butler, though I doubt Scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Probably more than his own wife. And the things he's done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'd do anything to keep himself safe, alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
Potential dangers aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. Oh, is that why we left Marianne? Sure, I could have enlisted McCulloch's help. Next to the people who owns this, she's probably the one who's most familiar with the mansion. But the cons of bringing her outweighs the pros. She's better off somewhere, a quick exit's in sight. With no tag along, I only have to worry about myself. Watch my back. Selfish, I know.
Unnecessary.
In the same manner this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, I don't really need a guide when the house's layout is fairly simple, almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the room. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place's ins and outs. As long as you can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. After the dining hall, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me, where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure if I should be trusting what I'm hearing. But with the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, isn't it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet crosses the next room, something shifts. Oh! Oh my god, that ain't good. Yeah, that's fucked. In a flash, nearly without fanfare, it happens in a blink of an eye. I almost miss it. Did everybody here die and then just paint the fucking walls? One moment there's red, in the next, oh, okay, never mind. Everything's okay, everything's good. I'm standing alone in the foyer. For a brief instant, I pause, glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pooled on the floor, no eyes watching my every moment. Only the same cries, gradually growing in intensity the longer I dally, along with a voice.
Mother.
Who's that? Red indeed, Ruth. Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
Whose voice is that? Is that Hannah? Pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
It sounds like Hannah. Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from. Upstairs. The place is not entirely empty then. A better question now is who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I've yet to see hide nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. I have to be careful not to make any noise or be seen. Maybe the wife? I think it is. Though one can't really tell if it's her, the way the walls echo her voice. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move, taking almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls itself. Oh, not again. Okay. I tried to shake it off, but the uneasy sensation has already made home at the pit of my stomach. Dread, and it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. Oh, is this the attic? This is the attic that Isabella went to get the letter. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Neither does the harsh wind battering the windows, nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I find myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. I don't get too far down into the train of thought. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with,
Mother, please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me.
what?
She won't leave, Mother. Mother, I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
You know, that sounds exactly like what we heard in Rebecca's route in the hospital. Remember when Rebecca heard that kid in the hospital and we found them at a dead end and then there was just that picture of Lady Ermengarde? This is exactly the same text, isn't it? That can't be good. Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up on me. My hands ready at the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. Oh man, what are you going to do with a gun? You can't shoot a ghost. Or maybe, I don't know, can you actually? One alarm footstep after another while struggling to keep that sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end and coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
It sounds like Hannah. It is, Ruth. I do not hesitate, moving in desperate, despite the lack of light, the steep stairs, or the thick layer of dust kicking up with my every step. I pause only a moment upon reaching the top. Then, without wasting a second, I push the door open. Is that Lady Ermengarde? She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. This is the attic. Oh my god, this is the attic. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the floor, continuing undisturbed like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
No, get out of there. Get out of there.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here.
Oh, this soundtrack.
Help me! Help me, please!
Oh, the curls, right? Or Jaw Summer style. But lately, I'd noticed the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even the single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies? The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? He's bad news, alright, but this? This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet the wound lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room, repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. Close the door and get out of there, Ash. To whom? The mess of parchment she has left on the floor. Just what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
Is she the one that wrote the letter? The rest of that question never makes it out. I don't even see it coming. Should have been more aware and on guard, really. But there's little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees make me stumble. The momentum alone sends me reeling forward. It barely even registers in my head that the woman's gone and the room's as normal as it can be. Not above the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I don't even get a chance to get my bearings back when a hard enough blow to the stomach causes me to buckle down and land heavily on my knees. Gasping, I fumble wildly for my gun, although before I'm able to turn it, level it, and shoot, a hand grabs my wrists and twists it hard. A gasp, a grunt, a cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls to the floor with a thunk. As soon as it lands, a foot kicks it out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. No, our gun! Agony suddenly explodes in my chin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain, and stars fill the edges of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCulloch when a piece of cloth closes around my neck. Without warning, my attacker pulls tight. I'm left gasping, choking, and clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me as I still try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck. Except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
Johans? Wright's butler. Shit.
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Did something happen to Hannah Wright?
Go! You asshole!
Now, Dummkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
What's going on? Where's Hannah? The pain rings and resonates through my already sore body. Still, I managed to write it out and spit a mutinous...
Fuck you.
Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney. I assure you, it will be more painful than this.
He really doesn't need to threaten me by now. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with the lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. Oh no! My consciousness rapidly slips away from me, and without meaning to...
Ashton Frey!
Hearing that voice, it's as if I've been doused with a bucket full of ice, cold water, familiar, too familiar, and more importantly, it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. She should be at the hospital, safe. Yet, it seems a part of me still hangs onto a sliver of hope that she'll be here. So, without sparing it some thorough thought, I snap my eyes open. Of course, there's no one.
Did you really think she'd leave you?
Except for the murmur of voices in my ears, whispering phrases as sharp as a blade, each one as scathing as the next. Words that, although I know my own friends won't ever utter, still digs a deep wound seeping into me as if they're simply another truth.
It's useless, Ashton Frey.
But repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth, they say, and slowly a part of me is starting to believe it. Damn it!
You are going to die.
Shut up.
I'm surprised you're still awake.
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off my words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I can taste blood in my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel still coiled around my neck.
You bastard!
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Then he laughs. Too cruel, too unforgiving, the way each note beats against my ears, in spite of the warmth it in them sends chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. He won't hesitate.
You are going to die alone.
Oh god, no. Panic surges within me. Out of some instinct and desire to survive, I ducked hard, pulling him forward with me and quickly reaching over my shoulder to grab at his arm. Oh, damn! Oh, I got an achievement called Narrow Escape. And throwing him over my shoulders with as much strength as I can muster. Oh my god, Johans! Oh god, I don't know who I should be cheering for, either Johans or Ash, because I like Johans. Something whizzes against my ears, the towel on my neck loosens, my head is pounding. In a rush of air, he lands back first on the floor with a heavy slap. Oh, and there goes his glasses. Before he can even recover or make a grab at me, I'm drawing back my arm and bringing my fist down on his face. There's a moment of silence. Fuck, I can barely keep my eyes open, but in the next second, his grip on me loosens. He's out, and I'm... I collapse on the floor, dazed and gasping for air. From my peripheral, through the haze of blood rushing and slowly filtering back, the butler lay still. Oh no, did we kill him? Knocked unconscious by a man half his size and half breathing.
He'll be out for a while.
I have no idea whether I should laugh or cry at that, but it's done, and slowly every tense muscle in my body eases. A long, gradual process of the tension lifting. For countless seconds I remain quiet, with only my short gasps and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline ebb away and my breathing to slow. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse. I'm still inside the mansion, in imminent danger. I still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing, and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. Oh boy. Stir, minutes later, once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable. As is moving, although every small motion causes a wince, there will be a bruising tomorrow, I can imagine. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy. Good, he got the gun. But only with some effort, I am able to drag an unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one end of a handcuff on his wrist, while fastening the other on the bed frame. That should keep him restrained for a few hours, while I'm free to get the fuck out of here and do what I've come here for. That isn't to say I'm all better. I still feel shaky after what happened. Everything still hurts, but this is a significant improvement from my previous predicament. How many handcuffs did we get? Without another look back, I close the room behind me, ignoring the whispers and desperate cries still ringing in my ears. Oh no, so is Johans gonna be stuck in the attic? Oh god. Power still hasn't come back when I make my way downstairs. Tricky, considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. You're lucky if that's all that'll happen to you.
With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome.
Ouch. With nothing to guide me through the darkness, I have to feel my way down. Carefully listening for each creak and noise, checking each step I land on before placing a foot on it. Right on cue, the same board I'm stepping on creaks and suddenly breaks, the pieces falling somewhere with a dull thump.
Oh shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, my foot.
Do we cut ourselves? Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the gusts battering the windows in the attic. It makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person I've encountered from this house is the butler. Although, to some degree, that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. Where are the other servants, though, in this storm? Wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? A likely assumption is that they're all asleep. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms they're likely assigned as the servants' quarters. However, they have also heightened security. I've brushed it off earlier, thinking they'll be posted a lot closer to where the master's rooms are, but the second floor is devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. Yeah, where do they go? More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that I'm here, right in the fucking middle of it, makes me all the more queasy. And that feeling only escalates once I reach the landing and swing the door open. Only to be greeted by the kitchen, pots, pans and all. Oh, so where's Marianne? There's confusion as I look wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in my surroundings. With each turn and shift of my eyes, apprehension slowly dawns on me like a bag of bricks. Wasn't that door supposed to open a hallway? But the pressing matter right now is... In one corner, Zach and Rebecca watch us almost as surprised to see me. Oh, they're here! What the fuck? McCulloch is also with them. Of course, she didn't listen to me, even if I've already exceeded the 15 minutes we've agreed on. Oh man, she didn't go? Although colour and strength seems to have already returned to her, maybe she had some water. Enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the counter appears to have played a part on that. Oh, she ate. Good news, I guess. As for the other two, however, relieved as I am that they've had the sense not to venture deeper into the mansion, I can't keep but roll my eyes at both.
Zach, I said 4 hours.
I know, but Rebecca asked and... Come on, bro. You know I ain't a very good liar. And you know how she is.
And it didn't even occur to you to stop her?
I tried, alright? Even G. She was out the door before I could say anything.
Dang, she's strong.
Did you really think you could hide this from us?
I had to, Becca. And how did you guys even get in here?
Both of them exchange a look, one that I absolutely don't like. In the end, it's Rebecca who speaks up, albeit with a bit of hesitation.
Someone was screaming, Ash. It led us here.
What, did you come through a window or something? Without warning, the door behind me slams shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen and we have 2 ways out, the back door and the cellar offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull at it, and neither does the back door, as if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Zach also gives it a few tries, but even with the big guy's strength, it won't open. Oh, at least we're all back together. There's a long bout of silence in which we simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally led us here. Fuck. In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, over every surface and in every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and gradually, the whole room begins to reek of that familiar metallic scent, sharp, suffocating. Around us, every object, including the cupboards, have started to rattle as well. Oh no, she's a poltergeist now. The sounds from outside, foreboding rumbling of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade away, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. Though inaudible, each beat and note bombards every crevice my head with vague images and sounds. Yeah, I can hear the whispers. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It should take us straight to the foyer, where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change, and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes us instead. Oh. An image that lasts only but a second before blood begins to seep into the room. Oh dear. Filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny, everywhere. Furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slams shut. A loud thud, bringing the sense of dread and chill creeping up in each of us. Along with it is another realization: the whole place is reordering itself. And with the door closed tight behind us, showing no signs of budging even though sheer force, there's no choice but to go forward and hope all gods that it'll lead us to an exit. Until running's the only thing we can do, spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to
It's
live.
useless, Ashton Frey.
But with each room we pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of letting us leave. It lured all of us here, and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us, a sordid form of amusement. For whom? Their laughters are the only thing we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun at my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those, they mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Ashton Frey? Just give it up.
Oh dear.
I will eventually die because of you.
Oh, I heard that whisper.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true, though.
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
Oh man. The more gruesome the place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and screams fill our ears as we pass by, words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us, their voices almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here, that there are others begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show, a taste of what we will eventually be, souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here.
Oh, hey, what?
Help me! Help me, please!
Is this what the curse is? What it means for all of us? That the letter's not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation? A beckoning for unsuspecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors, to be put under centuries and centuries of torment and agony. Suddenly, dying a painful death seems preferable, enticing than ending up here, living a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope worms its way into me. Not a usual thing for someone like me, but after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it'll get us out of here. We're back in the dining room again. How long have we been running? How long since we've left the kitchen? At some point, I've lost track of time, with the windows barred tight and those sounds lifting in the air. Nothing but shouts and shrieks. It's impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore. That if the situation isn't as desperate as it is, I'll find a different way out. But there's still a gap left at the topmost part for a person to go through, as long as he used the shelves to climb.
It's an exit, all right.
Is it? From here, I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief, only relief washes over me, although my legs have been stained taut by all that running, and every bone and muscle in my body ache. There's only an easing, a sense of tension relieving, while energy backflows through me again at the sight of an end. No sooner I'm leading us out of it. Zach helps McCulloch first, assisting her up and through the gap before giving a hand to Rebecca. The moment the ladies are in, I nod for him to go through.
Go ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, he does that without any protest. Not that there's any need to. Sometime after entering this room, the whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers, just a silence too deafening, but I'm not letting my guard down until everyone on the other side of this nightmare safe. For all I know, this may be just a calm before another storm. Without further incident, however, Zach makes it to the other side and I'm following after him. However odd this hush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains though. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through me, or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, something's still nagging at me. Call it a detective's instinct or my training or whatnot. I have a feeling something's going to happen and catch us unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down on the better side of this stream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before. My feet haven't even landed firmly on the floor when...
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two.
Luke!
People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
A chill seeps into every vein in my body. All of a sudden, every ache, every pain returns to me tenfold, and my knees threaten to buckle at the sound of his voice. Though it appears friendly, I know it is anything but. I think this is the first time we as Ash have talked to Luke, right? One does not spend investigating a man like him for over a year and holding a grudge against him for more without knowing everything about him. His quirks, his habits, I'm familiar with all of them. And right now, Luke fucking Wright is beyond pissed. Shifting my gaze upwards is nearly too painful knowing the danger, not to me, but to those who have been lured here by the curse. Oh man, no! The handgun catches my eyes first, next to that smarmy smile on his face while he holds McCulloch, Zack, and Rebecca at gunpoint. Its sight enough to lodge a painful thorn up my throat. I've been too complacent, too focused on other things, that I've completely set aside the fact that Scumbag will not be too pleased to see us here without knowing our reasons. But even with those good intentions, curses, and ghostly apparitions aside, we're still trespassing in his home. The question is if he's even aware that the whole of his household has somehow disappeared and he might be the only one here. Likely not. Fuck. Even with people he knows among the crowd, there's a significant effort in him not to simply shoot everyone in sight.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about the photographer over there then? You were the photographer, right? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Please, sir.
Oh, please what?
Rebecca's right, sir. Something ain't right here. We ain't here to harm you or anything. We're just here to help.
Not a good excuse, especially coming from you. Let's simplify it. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
Oh man. Casually, he waves a handgun at them as if it were a mere toy, and his words are no threat. The safety's off on his, nothing stopping him from pushing through with his words. Call me paranoid, but the slight gesture, I draw my own and level it at him, finger on the trigger and ready to release the safety catch in case things go south. Oh boy, oh no, no, oh gosh. He's quick to train his own on me though, and just like that, we're at a standstill.
Now, Feathers. Manners.
Oh, we're Feathers. Okay, so we got Daisy. I don't know, I don't think he calls Zack anything. Mint is Marianne, and I guess we're Feathers.
You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Shooting him right now would be so worth it, with the way he stares at me like I'm a damn pest, but this isn't what I've come here for. I'm not a murderer. As much as I loathe him, I'm not the kind who will kill people in cold blood for my own gain or amusement. Just 2 pounds of pressure? Oh man, yeah. Oh, where was that from again? That was from, that amazing movie, the Equalizer, I think it was. Equalizer. Why Feathers? I think it's because like look at his coat. His coat has like those ruffled kind of feathers kind of thing. It looks good though. I like his coat, so I'm guessing that's why Feathers. The law will bring him what he deserves one of these days. At the moment, however, we're all in the same boat with this curse, and he needs to understand that. The longer we stand here, the more time we're wasting and losing, something we don't have much of. But how can I convince him? This scum is so full of himself, prefers to hear the sound of his own voice more than those of the people around him, no matter how much sense they make. Probably only way I can make him listen is if I beg. No way in hell that's happening. Really? No, just fucking beg if it works. Maybe I should eliminate the immediate danger first and disarm him. Should I beg him to listen, or should I disarm him? Oh gosh, I think this is going to be a do or die moment, guys. What do you think I should do? Oh shit, maybe I should... I'll quickly save here as well. Might as well. So, would you want me to, 1, beg him to listen, or 2, disarm him? I don't know what's going to work, so I'll leave it up to you guys. So, press number 1 to beg him to listen. Press number 2 to disarm him. Let me know, guys. Oh dear. Well, first of all, I think his safety's off. Our safety's on, but we still need to take it off and then aim for his hand, maybe? Or aim for the gun? Oh god, 2, he won't listen. Alright, I've got 1 vote for number 2. Alright, anyone else? I'll give 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You agree with Ruth? Alright, let's disarm him. Let's do it.
Sorry about this. I really don't have time for you.
I don't think twice. Within the span of a heartbeat, I'm moving and pulling on the trigger. Oh! 2 shots in quick succession echoes across the whole foyer, and both hit the Mark True. Oh my god, wow! Yeah, we actually hit him. Wright recoils with a sharp cry of pain. His pistol falls useless to the floor with a loud clank, followed by drops of blood from his bleeding wrist.
Why, you insolent!
Oh my god, no, Luke! He's down in 2 successive steps when I tackle him on the floor, pinning him hard with my arm. Although before I can knock him out with a solid right hook, an agonizing wail bursts through the tense air, loud enough to echo along the dark, empty halls of the mansion. Piercing enough for every occupant in the foyer to cover their ears and close their eyes. Then all at once, there are images. However, there's no time to make sense of it all. Amidst the discord and the noise, something whizzes past by, too close, too swift. A brief keen blur that barely registers in my eyes, like an arrow quickly finding its mark and heading straight for...
Rebecca!
Really? No. Time slows to a stop. In one moment of clarity, my body moves on its own, heart pounding hard against my ears, blood rushing through every vein, spurred only by adrenaline, in a desperate bid to reach her crouched, unsuspecting form, and... I don't even get to yell for it a second time. I don't even get to call her name.
Ash!
Oh! An acute pain bursts through my chest in the next instant. All of a sudden, everything around me feels too sharp. Every edge, every point. Even the act of drawing a deep breath alone stings and burns my lungs while an intense ache slowly spreads throughout my whole body. Numb. I feel numb. A hand comes away bleeding, shaking, while I can only let out a wet, ragged laugh. Soon, without warning, I'm going down on my knees, and the whole world is pitching sideways. An arm, firm and stable, is on me the second I stumble back, catching my fall. Oh my god, I think we're dead. Oh, we angered the ghost. She has always been like that, after all.
Ashton?
Her hands are shaking, her lips are quivering while she looks at me with worry. Tears have started to form at the corners, threatening to spill at any moment, and a pang of regret hits me at the sight of it.
This kind of feels like old times, doesn't it?
Oh boy, I got an achievement called Just Like Old Times.
Ash, don't...
Sorry, Becca. Looks like this will be the last.
Oh dear. Looks like I won't be able to protect you anymore. Cautiously, despite the stabbing aches shooting up every moment, I reach a trembling hand up to wipe the tears away. She's never the type to cry after all. My arm never makes it far, however. Midway, she meets my hand, catching it in a tight grip, as if to still hold on to me. Not that she'll be able to. It's all slipping away. Just slowly. The pain is easing, everything going cold.
Stay put, Ash. We'll get you to a hospital. Don't move! And stop talking! You're making it worse! Don't worry! You'll be fine! We'll get you help!
I'd like to agree with that on her, reassure her, but I've gone through a lot, survived a lot of shit. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that I'm done for. Whatever hit me, a hole to the chest is fatal enough. Oh man, no, it's all good, it's all good. Like, we just gotta ride this out. I don't think I'm going to bounce back from this. I'm dying.
I'm sorry.
I should be afraid in this moment, yet I'm not. No fear, no dread, just an acceptance, and a deep regret as she appears before us, her voice echoing through the foyer. Oh boy! At the top of the staircase, Hannah Wright stands. To make matters worse, that thing's behind her, menacing, a rotting hand wrapped firmly around her neck. She looks like death. Pale and shaky, eyes red with tears. We nearly don't hear her as she pleads.
Help me. Please.
I told you, didn't I? Everything you're doing is useless, Ashton Frey. And now, you're dying. Meddlesome fool.
outside, and a streak of lightning flashes and a clap of thunder ripples across the sky. Here, there's only a whispered sigh, a fading breath, and a lone heart that beats hard one last time. She got one thing wrong, though. Oh, man. I did not die alone. You've unlocked a memory fragment. Oh. This looks like what we uncovered in the library. Maybe we get memory fragments each time a character dies. Did we get one for Isabella? Or maybe Isabella's not dead yet. Oh man. Wow. Okay, let me save right after this. Luke. Oh man, we're on to Luke's now. Let me save right there. Whew. Okay. Well, guys. Wow. We are on the last one now. Oh boy. Alright, so we are on Luke's path this time, guys. So, I might end it just there, but don't worry, we will be continuing the last of this story, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, same time, 12:30 a.m. We'll be doing, I think, about half of it, because I think Luke's story is very, very long, but it kind of takes off from where Ash died. I hope, or maybe it does, I'm not too sure. But, yeah, we'll probably split it in half, and then we'll do another one the day after. So we'll probably have 2 more days of the letter. So yeah, I hope you guys will tune in again. Ruth, that was good. It was good, wasn't it? Oh my goodness, wow, it was insane. Luke can die too, no worries. Well, it's up to you guys. I will leave it up to you guys if you want Luke to live or die. So I don't even know what the options are, so it's all up to you guys. But yes, I will be leaving it at that, and I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, and I will see you again very soon for Luke. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.